Okay, I think we are live. Hello, world! Happy Halloween! Welcome to Mr. FLIXTER Show. I'm your host, Chris, aka Mr. FLIXTER, and in this episode, I'm going to do my spoiler-free review of 28 Years Later, the long-awaited sequel to the 28 franchise. Sorry. Of course, there's 28 days, and then there's 28 weeks later. But first, before I do the review and the ranking, I got some birthdays and some deaths I want to talk about, and the weekend box office, of course. So, without further ado, roll the intro. Live from Niagara Falls, it's Mr. FLIXTER Show on Saturday night. Video. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on my video. Hello, world! I'm Chris Maitini, aka Mr. FLIXTER. Mr. FLIXTER. Here I am. All right. So let's start with these birthdays. We got quite a few. I just want to make sure I share the screen. I almost forgot. Put myself in the corner. All right. So let's go to IMDb. The first birthday is Hugh Jackman. Go away. Not sponsored. What is going on here? Okay. Okay, here's his picture. He just had his 57th birthday. He's probably most famous for playing Wolverine in the X-Men movies, but he's been in a ton of other stuff, so we'll go over that. Let's just scroll down a bit. Sorry, I forgot to mention, he was born October 12th, 1968. So not that long ago. Let's go down. Here we go. Acting credits. He's also one of my favorite musicals, but we'll get to that. Okay, I thought so. His most recent thing was Deadpool and Wolverine last year. Ooh, excuse me. And he was on Rick and Morty. I didn't know that. That's cool. Let's see, what else? Of course, he's been on The Simpsons before. I didn't know he was in Free Guy. That's funny, from 2021. What else do we have here? I didn't see The Missing Link, so I can't really talk about that one. Ah, there it is. This is the musical I was referring to, The Greatest Showman from 2017. Beautiful soundtrack, amazing film. I love the way it was shot. He's really good in it. The whole cast is actually pretty amazing. So yeah, if you haven't seen The Greatest Showman, I highly recommend it. I skipped a bunch. Yeah, these are all X-Men movies. We got Logan, X-Men Apocalypse. Oh yeah, he was in that Peter Pan remake from 2015. Chappie's pretty good. 2015. He's in there at the museum. I didn't know that. That was 2014. I think that's the third one, Secret of the Tomb. Of course, we got more X-Men. Prisoners is really good from 2013. Movie 43 is not very good. Wolverine's good. I didn't really like the Les Mis movie, but he's good in it from 2012. What else we got? Rise of the Guardians was really good from 2000. That came out in 2012. Holy crap. Hard to believe how much time passes after a while, eh? Real Steel. I love that one. 2011. It's a great robot boxing movie. And yes, it's as awesome as it sounds. We got more X-Men movies. We got probably one of the worst, if not the worst, for 2009. X-Men Origins Wolverine. What else we got? Oh yeah, he was in Happy Feet. Oh, Deception. That was a good one. 2008. Happy Feet. 2006. The Prestige is really good. If that's the one I'm thinking of, with the two magicians, and it's got Edward Norton. That's 2006. The Fountain's pretty good. Also 2006. Van Helsing. I love. Well, that's the game. But the movie came out. Oh yeah, right there. I love Van Helsing. 2004. This movie got a lot of hate, but I watch it every year around Halloween. What else we got? More X-Men. Kate and Leopold. That one's not bad. 2001. Swordfish is really good too. That's a movie about hackers. Highly underrated film. Sorry, Hackers from 2001. And then what else do we have here? Of course, the first X-Men movie from 2000. I believe that was 25 years ago. Oklahoma. He started off in musical theater, believe it or not. COO, too far. Well, what was his first role? A TV show called Law of the Land in 1994. And then it looks like his first movie was Paperback Hero in 1999. Cool. So happy birthday, Hugh Jackman. I hope it's like what Deadpool says, and you're with Disney until you're in your 90s. Let's get one last look at you. Boom. Yeah, Hugh Jackman. The next birthday is Joan Cusack. We had a lot of birthdays the last week. She was born October 11th, 1962. Let's get a picture. There she is. So she just celebrated her 63rd birthday. One of my personal favorite roles of hers is Addams Family Values. But let's see what else she's done. Okay, I'm just going to go back for a second and see if I'm still streaming because I haven't checked yet. I'm paranoid about this kind of stuff. and I want to check the comments. Oh, we have a comment here. Let's go to me. Oh, wait, remove. Here I am. Cal L. Daly says, "Hey, FLIXTER. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for watching. If you've seen 28 Years Later, what'd you think of it? If you're just tuning in, I'm just going over some birthdays that happened over the last couple of weeks. So let's get back to it. Oh, wait. Here we go. Thanks for the comment, too. I'm doing great. So let's see. Joan Cusack's career. We'll just go acting. There's 92 credits. Wow. I know she's been in a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, she was in Klaus. That's a really good Christmas movie. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on Netflix. It's a hand-drawn animated film, so it's very rare they make those nowadays. Of course, she's Jessie in the Toy Story movies. 4 was the last one in 2019. I can't believe they made a Toy Story 4. I mean, they ended 3 on such a perfect note. Some of these I haven't heard of before. Oh, Snatched. It was 2017. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, she was in Shameless for 44 episodes. That's a good show. I forgot she was in that. That's awesome. That's why I like doing this, going back to see what people have been in, because you may not remember. It's been so long since you've seen it. She was in The Office. Oh, that's right. She's in the last episode. Perks of Being a Wallflower is pretty good. 2012. What else we got? Arthur Christmas was really good. 2011. I didn't see Mars Need Moms, but I heard it was terrible. 2011. She was in Phineas and Ferb for an episode. That's cool. 2011. She's in Hoodwinked 2, Hood versus Evil. I like the first one. Of course, we got more Toy Story. Confessions of a Shopaholic was 2009. I believe that also had Isla Fisher, however you say her name. And then what else we got? Oh, yeah, she was in Chicken Little, 2005. Terrible movie, but she was good in it. We got Looney Tunes Back in Action. That's right, 2003. Cooler Rock's really good. Also 2003. She's in A Very Merry Muppet Christmas movie from 2002. High Fidelity. That's a good one. 2000. And I forgot she was in Runaway Bride. That's cool. 1999. Incredible Rock is also good. Also 99. Arlington Road is good. Also 99. In and Out's also good. 97. Grosse Point Blank is amazing. 97. 9 Months is pretty good. I enjoyed that one. 1995. Oh, excuse me. There it is. Addams Family Values. 1993. And she's in Toys. That's right. 92. Let's see, what else is there? Say Anything, of course. 1989. Working Girl. It was 88. Classics. What else we got here? Oh, yeah, she was in 16 Candles, but she doesn't have a name like her character. So that must have been an earlier role. 1984. And it looks like her first movie was My Bodyguard from 1980. Awesome. So happy birthday, Joan Cusack. We love you. The next birthday is Daryl Hall. He was born October 11th, 1946. Here's his picture. Go away, not sponsored. And he just turned 79. He's more known for being a composer. So let's see his body of work. Actually, I think he was a composer. It said soundtrack. Okay, let's just look. Okay, he's an actor in 59 things, and he's a soundtrack. Yeah. Let's look at some of these soundtracks, too. That's interesting. And he's been a composer for a lot of things, too. So he's an actor, writer, composer, producer. Okay. I wasn't all that familiar who he was, but I noticed his birthday was coming up, so he's definitely worth mentioning. Oh, Masked Singer. That's cool. 2024. Oh, he worked on Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. The new one's actually really good. The one from last year. It's on Netflix. Highly recommend it. I wasn't a fan of Civil War, but the music was pretty cool. So I'll give it that. Let's see what else. No Hard Feelings. Is the book club, the next chapter. Is Euphoria, popular show. I didn't know they remade Saved by the Bell. How could they? That's terrible. Oh, he worked on The Simpsons. Okay. So many credits. Mr. Robot, The Watchmen, good shows. American Horror Story. I stopped watching that after a while, though. Lost interest. Ugly Dolls, okay. 2019. The Goldbergs. That was 2018. Let's see. We got Game Night, great movie. 2018. Pitch Perfect. Some people like those movies. I've only seen the first one. Some that I've never heard of before. Let's see. We're in the 2010s now. Oh, Alpha and Omega, okay. We got The Fighter, Raising Hope. It was a show, I believe. Yeah, that's what it says. Oh, 90210. Oh, Anchorman was 2004. He did She's Gone. Yeah, it even says the songs that he did for the show or the movie. Let's see, what else? What was his first thing? Oh, too far. Way too far. Oh, there's him singing there. Okay. Oh, it was Cheech and Chong's next movie in 1980. Awesome. Happy birthday, Daryl Hall. The next birthday is Mario Lopez. I want to check, make sure we're still streaming. Great. There you go. Okay. His birthday was October 10th, 1973. Here's a picture. Probably most famous as A.C. Slater from Saved by the Bell. So let's take a look. Go away. I'm not sponsored. Acting credits 106. Wow, we got more than I thought. Well, that's right. He was in Heads of State. That's a great movie. I reviewed that on my channel this year. So if you're interested, you can find it and you can watch it. Check it out. It's a great action comedy with John Cena and Idris Elba. Highly recommend. You should watch my review to see more, to hear more. He's in that show Hacks. I never saw it, but I heard it's good. What else? Yeah, he's been in Family Guy. Oh, he was also in the Saved by the Bell remake, apparently, as Slater. Okay. How about that? What else we got here? We got The Rookie. We got Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Mostly TV shows. That's cool. General Hospital. NCIS New Orleans. Oh, he was in Nashville. Oh, he was in Grease Live. Okay. I forgot he was in that, 2016. What else we got here? Hot in Cleveland's pretty funny. She was in that for an episode in 2014. What else we got? Oh, yeah, he was in Smurfs 2, 2013. Step Up Revolution, 2012. I didn't know they made a Honey 2, 2011. How about that? Get Him to the Greek was pretty funny, 2010. Let's see, what else? Oh, he was in Bold and the Beautiful. Okay, 2006. 46 episodes. Wow. What else was he in? Let's see. Some of these I've never heard of before. He even appeared on Sunday Night Heat 3 times in 1998. That's funny. And then there was that Saved by the Bell, the new class. That was terrible though. That wasn't good at all. He was only in it for 2 episodes. Even he got out while he could. And then yeah, there was that TV movie. I remember that. The Wedding in Vegas. Oh, he was on Golden Girls. Okay, I didn't know that. 87. So let's see what his first thing was. An episode of Simon and Simon in 1984. And as far as the movie goes, there's a TV movie called Kids Incorporated, Rock in the New Year. Awesome. Happy birthday, Mario Lopez. He turns 52. I'm not sure if I said that yet, but yeah, he's 52 now. Hard to believe, eh? All right, the next birthday is Matt Damon. I did not spell that right. Let's see. I could type. There we go. He was born on October 8th in 1970. Matt Damon. He's 55 now. Wow. I'm just going to check back to make sure I'm still streaming. Because I like to check once in a while, check the comments, no new comments. Okay. And we're good to go. So let's check out his body of work. Probably most famous for Good Will Hunting, or that impression of him in To America that I did. I love To America. But yeah, let's see what else. He's in a ton of movies. Yeah, right there, 102 actor credits. Wow. We'll just stick with that. That's already a lot. Previous. Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh, I didn't know he was in that If movie. Oopsie, I didn't mean to click that. He was the flower. Okay, that's cool. Go away, I'm a sponsor. That was from last year. That was a pretty good movie. He was in Oppenheimer in 2023. Air. I heard good things about that one. I still haven't seen it. It's about Nike shoes. It looks pretty cool. Thor: Love and Thunder, of course. He has a cameo in that. It's pretty funny. From 2022. Ford versus Ferrari from 2019. I didn't know he was in Deadpool 2. That's hilarious. Redneck number 2. Okay. Sure, why not? 2018. We got Unsane from 2018. Thor Ragnarok, of course. He had another cameo as Loki. I heard Suburbicon is pretty cool from 2017. Oopsie, didn't mean to click that. Downsizing is really good, though. Downsizing was 2017. And of course, Jason Bourne, 2016 was that one. I think there's 3 other ones. I think they did quite a few of those. The Martian was good, 2015. Interstellar, 2014. I wasn't a fan of it, but people like it. Elysium's really good, 2013. We got Happy Feet 2. Uh-oh, too far. That was 11. Contagion's good, 2011. 30 Rock, he was in 4 episodes, that's funny. True Grit, 2010. Hereafter is also from 2010. Green Zone's pretty good, 2010. Invictus, 2009. The Informant's really good, 2009. He was in Arthur. Holy crap, I didn't know that. For 1 episode. That's awesome. Born Ultimatum. There's another one, 2007. Ocean's 13. That's right, he's in the Ocean movies. He's in The Departed. That one's really good. I love The Departed. 2006. I didn't see Syriana, but I heard it's good. 2005. I love The Brothers Grimm from 2005. That's a great one. Oops, didn't mean to click it. Go back. What happened? Okay, here we are. Ocean's 12 was 2004. Born Supremacy was also 2004. Well, those are the same year. That's funny. Jersey Girl was pretty good, 2004. I think that's some Kevin Smith movie. Euro Trip was hilarious, 2004. Stuck on You was pretty good. That's Fairley Brothers from 2003. There's the original Bourne Identity from 2002. Ocean's 11 was 2001, and he was in The Majestic. Oh, okay, I forgot about that. 2001. He was in All the Pretty Horses. James Bob Strike Back. He's hilarious in that. We got Talented Mr. Ripley is really good. Dogma. Oops, 1999. Go away. Not sponsored. Oops, lost my spot. Where were we? Here we go. Where are we? Finding Forrester. I think that's a chess movie. 2000. That's pretty good. Titan AE. Highly underrated film. Highly recommend. Talented Mr. Ripley was 1999. There's Dogma. Saving Private Ryan. That's right. He was Private Ryan, the one they're looking for. Sorry, spoiler alert. From 98. There's Good Will Hunting, 1997. Chasing Amy. That's right. 97 as well. Let's see what his first thing was. Oh, Mystic Pizza from 1988. Cool. So happy birthday, Matt Damon. We love you. And then the last birthday I want to do is a posthumous birthday. And that's Luke Perry. He was born October 11th, 1966. And he passed away on March 4th in 2019. So rest in peace, Luke Perry. You will be missed. I just want to check back to make sure everything's still going smoothly. Looks like we're fine. Okay. And back to Luke Perry. Obviously, he's probably most well known for Beverly Hills 90210. But let's see what else he did. And he was in one of my favorite vampire movies, but we'll get to that. Oh, yeah, he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was his last movie from 2019. And he was in Riverdale. That's right. For 47 episodes. Wow. I don't even think I watched that many episodes of Riverdale. Let's see. What else was he in? Dudes and Dragons. Sure. Whatever that is. From 2005. I can only imagine what that is. We got Black Beauty from 2015. He was also in Hot in Cleveland, I guess. Sure, why not? It wasn't a bad show. That was pretty funny. I watched it. Oh, yeah, he was in Community for an episode. Let's see. What else was he in? Redemption Road from 2010. Some of these I've never heard of before. Oh, it was on an episode of Criminal Minds by the looks of it, and Law and Order SVU. He was in the Twilight. No. Yeah, the Twilight Zone radio dramas, and then Sandlot Heading Home. I guess that was a direct-to-video sequel. Didn't see it. Oh, it was in the show What I Like About You for an episode. No, 3 episodes. Will and Grace for an episode. Clone and High was pretty funny. From 2003. Oh, hey, he was in an episode of Tales from the Crypt. How about that? That's awesome. He played himself on Johnny Bravo and Family Guy. There it is. Dylan. 90210. 199 episodes. Wow. Oh, he was in Incredible Hulk. Oh, he was in The Fifth Element. I didn't know that. 1997. Billy. I'm trying to think of Billy from The Fifth Element. Oh, that's right. He's in the beginning, in the intro. Okay. It took me a second. It's a short part, but yeah, that's right. He is in that movie. Wow. Yeah, he was on the Simpsons third episode. I remember that. Here's the vampire movie I was referring to. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Buffy. I did a video all about my top 5 favorite vampire movies, and Buffy made the cut. So if you want to watch that video, it's on my channel. Check it out. That's also when I did my spoiler-free review for Sinners. Let's see. Looks like his first job was Voyagers, a TV show from 1982. And a Twisted Sister video. That's awesome. But his first movie was Terminal Bliss from 1990. Cool. So happy posthumous birthday, Luke Perry. May you rest in peace. Can we just get a moment of silence for Luke Perry, please? Thank you. So I just want to check to make sure everything's still going smoothly. Oh, we got some comments here. Hold on. Remove. Sabrina says, Love in Paradise was a good movie. Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't mention that one with Luke Perry. Okay, great. Thank you for the recommendation. Okay, so now we have some deaths tonight I want to mention. The first one is Drew Struzan. You might not recognize his face or his name, but you might recognize his work. Oh, they don't have a picture here. Hold on. They gotta have a picture. There we go. Okay, here we go. Good. He was born on March 18th, 1947, in Oregon City, Oregon. But he passed away on October 13th, 2025. His cause of death was Alzheimer's disease. He was 78 years young. He's most famous for his movie posters. you can see there, poster artist, poster artist, poster artist, poster art, poster art. So he did the poster for This Is the End. There it is. Go away. I'm not sponsored. Oops, too far. He did more famous for his Indiana Jones posters. But yeah, we got The Mist. Let's go through a few. Pan's Labyrinth is an amazing poster. I really do think this is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. So it needs a great poster. I'll make this one a little bigger. There it is. Awesome. Doug Jones is really good in that too. He's one of my favorite actors. And of course, it's directed by Guillermo del Toro. I know I butchered that. I'm not Spanish. Go away. I'm not sponsored either. Oh, I gotta go back again. Too far. Or should I say not far enough? Here we go. Go away. Not sponsored. So yeah. He did the World of Worlds poster. He did a lot of Star Wars posters. He did the Hellboy poster. He even did Harry Potter. Crocodile Hunter. He did Planet of the Apes from 2001. The Green Mile. Anastasia. He even did the Jurassic Park posters. Oh, he did The Lost World. I'll also go to Heaven 2. Mars Attacks. I love that poster. Mallrats. Shawshank Redemption. Oh, he did The Mask. Wow. Some of these I didn't know. He did Hocus Pocus. Muppets Christmas Carol. Aladdin. He did Hook. Oh, he even did the Back to the Future posters. That's cool. I did an episode about the Back to the Future movies. So you can check that out on my channel too, if you're interested. It's the 40th anniversary this year for Back to the Future. He did the Land Before Time poster. What? Whoa. So most likely, when you were a kid, he filled up your VHS collection. More often than not, you're looking at his work. You got Police Academy, Happy Hour, Meatballs, Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, they got the original Back to the Future. That's a great poster, too. They all are, really. The Bear. I love that movie. 84. What else you got? Risky Business, Under Fire, Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Pirates of Penzance. That's awesome. I love that one. Dark Crystal. Tron. He did Tron. Wow. Blade Runner. He did the Thing poster. Whoa. E.T. Some of these I didn't even realize he did. This is pretty amazing. Oh. I'm back. I was informed I wasn't sharing the screen. I'm back. Sorry. Let's go. Okay. So I'll just start at the top and go over a few of them. He got so many posters. He's mostly known for his Star Wars posters and Indiana Jones, but he's done so many other ones, like How to Train Your Dragon. What else? This Is the End. There's one of the Indiana Jones. That's not the good one, though. There's 3 good ones. 2 not good. There's Pan's Labyrinth. That's an amazing poster. Great Doug Jones movie, too. He's like one of my favorite actors. And of course, Guillermo del Toro directed it. I really do think that's one of the greatest horror movies ever made, so it needs a great poster. That was Pan's Labyrinth from 2006. He did the Hellboy poster. There's more Star Wars. He did Harry Potter, Planet of the Apes, Flintstones, Viva Rock Vegas. I remember that. I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. He did the Green Mile poster, more Star Wars, Anastasia, even did Jurassic Park Lost World. He did Mars Attacks. That's cool. That's a great poster. Mallrats, Shawshank Redemption, The Mask, Flintstones, Hocus Pocus. We're back, a dinosaur story. Wow. Aladdin, Stay Tuned, good one, 92. Some of these are so iconic too, like Hook. He did the Back to the Future posters. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Indiana Jones. He did Land Before Time from 1988. Wow. Some of these I didn't even know he did, so we're all learning here. Batteries Not Included, 87. That takes me back. Adventures in Babysitting, Masters of the Universe. Harry and the Hendersons from 87. Let's see, what else? An American Tail. I love Fievel. Police Academy. There's the first Back to the Future. Oh, we did the Goonies. More Police Academy. Tiny Walk Adventure. The Bear. I love that movie. 84. I haven't seen that in so long. Wow, that takes me back. The Bear. You got Return of the Jedi, my favorite Star Wars film. Pirates of Penzance, that's awesome. Dark Crystal, Rambo, First Blood, Tron. He's done so many posters. He did the poster for The Thing and Blade Runner and E.T. Whoa. Cannonball Run, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's see, what else is here? We got Star Wars A New Hope, 77. You might have did Empire. I didn't see it there. But I did go kind of fast. I'm curious. Did he do Empire as well? Maybe a little higher. Oh, I skipped over it. Oops, I missed it. Yeah, he did do Empire 80 right there. Cool. He did the special edition poster. Ooh. The Muppet movie. Wow. So many. Let's see, what else is here? Okay, so his first poster was Escape to Witch Mountain in 1975. Wow. May you rest in peace, Drew Struzan. Can we just get a moment of silence for him too, please? Thank you. Before I move on, I just want to check, make sure everything's still going smooth. All right, cool. Oh, go back. Still sharing the screen. Okay, I don't know why that's there. You can go away. I need you. Okay, cool. So the next one. Whoopsie. What happened? Oh no, I don't want this. I think I clicked the ad by accident. Oops. Okay. Is Samantha Edgar? Egger, sorry. Here's a picture. She was born. Oops. Get rid of this. There she is. She was born on March 5th in 1939 in Hampstead, London, UK. She passed away on August 15th, 2025 in Los Angeles in Sherman Oaks, California. She was 86. May she rest in peace. One of my favorites to her is actually the one they show here, Curtains. Great slasher. But I'll tell you about some of the stuff that she was in. Here we go. Her last TV show was Metalocalypse from 2012. Excuse me. Okay, let's go. She did a lot of TV shows by the looks of it. Cold Case, All My Children. Thought I saw another one up here. Yeah, Cold Case. Okay, cool. Oh, she was in the Hercules show. Oh, the Disney version. Okay. Oh, she was Hera. Oh, okay. Let's see what else is here. She was in Star Trek: Next Generation for an episode. She was in Matlock. Okay, cool. Let's see what else. She was in an episode of Stingray, Outlaws, the original Magnum PI. Okay, there it is. Curtains, 1983. Well, she was in Fantasy Island for 2 episodes. She was in The Brood. That's a really good movie. That's Cronenberg. I love that movie. Starsky and Hutch. Columbo. Welcome to Blood City. Let's see, what else? Some of these I'm not familiar with. Oh, she's in the original Doctor Who. I'm sorry, Dr. Doolittle. That's cool. She was in The Collector from 1965. And her first show was Rob Roy. First movie, it looks like, was Young and Willington. Sorry, Young and Willing. Oops, go back. Princess and the Pea. There we go. Go back to the top. Rest in peace, Samantha Egger. You will be missed. Can we just have a moment of silence for her too, please? Thank you. Okay, let's just go back. Okay, I'm back. That was a lot of birthdays and deaths. There's just one more that I want to talk about. Sorry, one more. And then we can go to the main event. I promise. I almost forgot to share the screen again. Question is, what is going on out there? Celebrities are dropping like flies. It is getting ridiculous. The last one is very recent. It just happened. It's Sam Rivers. He's more of a musician. Even have an IMDb page. Oh, he's got one. No picture, though. It's got to be a picture. Okay, well, he passed away today. He was born since September 2nd. So he would have been 48. Well, he was 48 when he passed away. Okay, hold on, though. We can get a picture. Sam Rivers. There we go. There's a picture. When in doubt, improvise. Yeah, I should have mentioned that too. If you didn't know, he was the bassist for Limp Bizkit. See, the article just came out. Like, this just happened. Breaking news. He's more of a musician, but I like Limp Bizkit. I listened to them in high school. I think I just dated myself. Oops. Let's go back to IMDb. Yeah, their music was in a lot of different movies. Even got 5 composer credits, so that's cool. And he was 23 actor cameo, 23 actor roles, acting roles, I guess. Yeah, I guess I had that right the first time. But well, a lot of these are going to be music videos, probably. Yeah, we got Limp Bizkit here, Limp Bizkit. Cool. Yeah, these are Limp Bizkit videos. That might be what all the acting credits are. Credits, that's the word I was looking for before. Nikki, Counterfeit, great songs. But yeah, their music appears in a lot of movies. Oh, here we go. We got Real Steel, Into the Blue, Life is a House, Y2K. Oh, I should have clicked soundtrack. That would have made more sense. Go back down. Yellow Jackets. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Y2K. There's Real Steel. Into the Blue. WrestleMania. Of course, they're on WrestleMania. That makes sense. Oh, Daria, that's cool. Sour, that's a good song. So rest in peace, Sam Rivers. Where's your picture? Here we go. Great picture. Please get a moment of silence for Sam Rivers. Thank you. Rest in peace. You will be missed. All right, let's go back to me. And remove. Wow, that took almost an hour to go through all that stuff. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the weekend box office. We had a pretty big week last week. Get rid of those. Share the screen again before I forget. All right, let's check out the weekend box office. Because last week was the opening weekend for quite a few movies. And it looks like Tron Ares came out on top. And it made $36 million, $36.8 million. So that's a pretty good opening weekend for Disney. I feel like that should have been higher, though. But then again, how many Tron fans are out there, and how many were clamoring for a sequel? But hey, we have a new Tron movie. We have The Roof Man. I think that's the new Channing Tatum movie. That made $9.2 million. There was One Battle After Another. That made $7.9 million. It's been out for 3 weeks. It's got $55 million so far. So I'd say it's doing pretty decent. Number 4, we have Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. That's $4.4 million. It's made $27.5 so far after 3 weeks, so that's doing pretty well. Number 5 is The Conjuring: Last Rites. I wonder why it doesn't have the spots from last week on this one. Usually it says what it was last week. Oh well. Well, am I in the right one? Oh, I was on the wrong thing. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, here we go. Okay. I was in the wrong section. My apologies. All right. So yeah, One Battle After Another. That was at number 2 last week, so it dropped a spot. And then Gabby's Dollhouse was number 4. Conjuring was the same place last week too. But it's doing pretty well. It made $3.1 million so far. Well, that weekend. Keep in mind, this was last weekend. October 10th to the 12th. Because this weekend is still happening. So I'm curious how Black Phone 2 does. I'll talk about that next week. So we got Conjuring. It's made $172.6 million so far. It's been out for 6 weeks. So it's doing pretty good. We'll see if it's the last Conjuring movie like they say it is. Number 6 is Soul on Fire. That's a new entry. It's got $2.8 million. Number 7 is Demon Slayer. It got $2.2 million. Number 8, dropping 5 spots, wow, is The Smashing Machine. That's the new Rock movie. It's got $1.8 million that weekend. It's got a total of $9.8. It's only been out for 2 weeks, though. So that's a big drop. That's a big difference. Number 9 is The Strangers Chapter 2. It made $1.6 million It's got a total of 13.5. It's been up for 3 weeks. Number 10 is Good Boy. Heard a lot of good things about this one. I'm looking forward to it. It made $1.4 million. It's got 4.9 so far. It's been up for 2 weeks. And then the honorable mentions, 11 was The Long Walk, the new Stephen King film. That made about $1 million. Almost 1.1. It's got 33 million so far after 5 weeks. So, it's decent. The good thing about horror movies is they're pretty cheap to make. They're easy to get their money back. Kiss of the Spider Woman was 12. It made $891,000 for its first week. Number 13 was Downton Abbey, the grand finale. It made another 732,000. It's made 43.9 million so far, though, after 5 weeks. 14 is Him. It made 400. Ooh, that dropped. That's really dropping. Holy crap. 486,000. It's made 24.5 million so far. So that's not doing as well as I was thinking it would do. And then 15, shout out to Bad Guys 2 for holding on. Yeah, 472,000. You're up 150% this week. That's awesome. You have $81.6 million so far. You've been up for 11 weeks. That's awesome. And then we'll just check out the international box office real quick. Sorry, worldwide. Yeah, here we go. We got Neja 2 at number 1. It's got almost $2 billion. And then we got Lilo and Stitch at number 2 with just over $1 billion. Then we have a Minecraft movie at number 3 with just under $1 billion. We have Jurassic World Rebirth at number 4. That's got 886 million. Number 5 is How to Train Your Dragon. Significant difference between the two of them, though. This one has 635 million. Number 6 is F1 the movie, believe it or not. Pretty close to How to Train Your Dragon. It got 629 million. Number 7 is Superman. I really thought that would be higher up on the list. I'm surprised it's this low. 615.9 million. Number 8 is Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. 598.7 million. Number 9 is Demon Slayer, already on the list. Wow. Impressive. 851.3 million worldwide. And number 10 is Fantastic Four, First Steps, holding on strong. 521.8 million. Then these honorable mentions are Conjuring Last Rites, 477.4 million. Captain America, Brave New World is 12 with 415 million. Thunderbolts is number 13 with 382.4 million. That's another one. I really thought that would do better. And Sinners is 14 with $366.6 million. That's amazing. And Final Destination Bloodline, shout out to them. Still holding on strong throughout the year. $315.1 million worldwide. Awesome. Okay, let's go back. And remove. Okay, I'm back. So that took a little bit longer than I thought it would take, but that's okay. There was a lot of stuff I have to cover. Now let's get to the main event, shall we? My spoiler-free review of 48 Years Later. This was one of my most anticipated horror movies this year, aside from like Black Phone 2, and then there was Final Destination Bloodlines. I was really looking forward to that one too. So let's talk about this movie, shall we? So let's go to IMDb and bring up the poster. You know the drill. So if you've seen the movie, let me know in the comments what you think about it, and we can talk about it. Go away, I'm not sponsored. Here's the poster. Well, here's one version. Let's see what other posters they got. Oh, these are pictures. Okay, hold on. Go away, not sponsored. I want poster. Here we go. This is the poster I put on the collage for the thumbnail. That's an awesome poster. Oh. Okay, sharing the screen. Put myself in the corner. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm sharing the screen. So here's the synopsis. A group of survivors of the rage virus live on a small island. When some group members leave on a mission to the mainland, they discover secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated the outside world. So, my question to you, does this flick live up to all the infectious hype? Or should it be quarantined? Let's go back to IMDb and look at this poster. So, 28 Years Later was directed by Danny Boyle. It was written by Alex Garland. It stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Ralph Fiennes. It was made in the budget of $60 million, and it made $151.2 million worldwide at the box office. So it made a nice chunk of change. In case you didn't know, they filmed this movie back to back with another movie called Bone Temple. So that's supposed to be coming out. It's already been filmed. It's in the can. It's supposed to be coming out in January of next year, so pretty soon. But should you be excited for it? Well, let's talk about it. So after saying how much he's wanted to for years, it's nice to see Danny Boyle come back to make a return like this. In numerous interviews, he stated how the sequel would have been out sooner if it weren't for issues with the film rights with other studios. So his desire to come back shows his passion for what he started. And, and I admire that. Filmed on location in Northumberland, Somerset, Durham County, and Lindisfarne Island, also known as Holy Island. And the scenery is gorgeous. It really is one of the highlights of the film. So, in case you didn't know, the film was primarily shot using the iPhone 15 Pro Max. They also used an assortment of body cameras and drones too. Some shots use this bullet time effect, using this custom built circular rig that had between 8 to 20 iPhones that they used simultaneously. So what happens is the camera would stop for a second, it would rotate like 180 degrees, and then it would just keep going from where it left off. Kind of like how they do it in the Matrix, the bullet time, the way it stops and slows down. These rotations do add energy to the zombie kills for the most part, but it's not a consistent thing. They only do it for like the first chunk of the movie, and then it just kind of goes away after that. A lot of the style in the first part of the movie kind of just goes away after a while. Actually, just thinking. But anyways, excuse me. Boyle explained in numerous interviews that using smaller handheld cameras and the drones made it easier to film in these isolated rural locations. Makes sense to me. Again, it was filmed in Northumberland, Somerset, County Durham, and Lindisfarne Island. That's the main island that the trailers show. The practical effects makeup in this is phenomenal. The gore doesn't disappoint. I mean, it gets pretty gnarly. That's another good thing about it. However, I don't really like the cinematography. The way the film looks throws me off. It's like the color palette is off or something like that. I also found the editing to be frantic and frustrating. Because it cuts back and forth between like these red shots. It looks like it might be zombies feeding or something like that. And then it goes back and forth between like these military people, and it has this poem being that's talking during certain parts of the movie. And I don't know, it's kind of distracting. It's kind of jarring. Some people might find it effective when it comes to tension, but I didn't. The biggest problem that I think is the script. It is nice to see Alex Garland come back and continue what he started. His fervor to return has been self described as a reawakening to societal change during and after the global pandemic. But as a writer, he's hit and miss with me. Mostly miss. His ambition, especially in this film, is only preceded by his lack of focus. This movie is so unfocused. Like the first hour is great, but then it's all downhill from there. I do like how they set up high tide as a plot device. That's not seen too often in movies, and it's nice how it comes back later on. I don't want to say too much. This is a spoiler-free review after all, but keep your eyes open for that when you see it. It's pretty clever how they do it. But there's too many weird plot choices. Like some of the new variations of the infected, because they evolve in this and they kind of mutated. They don't really make sense. And then certain character actions don't make sense either because characters do dumb things to put themselves in unnecessary danger. That's like one of the biggest pet peeves of mine when it comes to horror movies. That's why I don't like A Quiet Place. After they put the waterfall into play, it just seemed like living on the farm was putting themselves in unnecessary danger. Why not just live near the waterfall? Anyways, the plot for 28 years later, it's not what you think it's going to be based on the trailers. The trailers actually kind of false advertising because this is not the movie that was being advertised. I want to see that movie, the one that they showed the trailer for. That looks interesting. But instead, we get this. Without saying too much, Aaron Taylor Johnson is barely in the movie. And then once he leaves, the movie's not that interesting. But I do want to give credit to the kid that plays Spike. He's the main protagonist. He's played by Alfie Williams. He's fantastic. Effortlessly carrying the movie. It's very rare to find good childhood actors like this, especially ones that have that range. They can be funny and they can be dramatic, and he can be scared if need be. He's got a lot of layers to him, and he shows it through his nuanced performance. That's nice. Give him a lot of credit. He's one of the best actors in the movie, and that's along with some other big names. So good for him. I wonder if he was nervous acting with some of these people because it doesn't show it. But yeah, like I was saying, the plot is so derivative of every other post-apocalyptic horror story. I don't want to say too much, but it's people looking for a cure, the thing that we've seen a million times before. But they do approach it from a new way. It's more of a coming of age story for Spike during the zombie apocalypse. And it's interesting, too, how Spike was born during the apocalypse, too. He doesn't know life before. That was before his time. So all these stories that he hears about society, he doesn't know about firsthand. He can only imagine what it's like. Kind of like kids today and the 90s or the 80s and the 70s. They can't imagine what it was like living then because they weren't alive. But the thing that made the other two movies so special was compelling, likable characters. There's not as much of an emotional attachment to these ones. Therefore, their dramatic moments aren't as impactful. The opening scene is strong, but not as strong as the other two films. And the second film is a hard act to follow when it comes to opening acts. For starters, it's a lot shorter than those other two opening sequences. It's also a lot more vague. So little is known about the characters that are presented to us that it's hard to feel concerned for them. We see them, the zombies attack, they try to escape. So, yeah, both of those factors hinder the opening sequence. And then, like I said, after that hour, it's all downhill from there. The glaring pace issues are apparent. The first half is fast paced and scary. The second half is slow and unfocused. The emotional core to the entire film feels hollow because the themes of family, loss, and survival just don't resonate as strongly. We don't get that much time with Spike and his mom, or we don't get that much time with Spike and his dad, Jamie. His mom's name is Isla, by the way. I don't think I said that before. Another reason is because the inconsistent tone. It shifts awkwardly between horror, drama, comedy, and then surrealism. It's so jarring. Oh, it's so jarring. One moment in particular is supposed to be a really dramatic event, but it feels rushed and manipulative because it's about a sensitive subject that people can relate to, but they use it so much in movies that it becomes cliche and then involves somebody having cancer. So it just feels like they're playing the sad notes just to make people sad. You know what I mean? Like, because so many people can relate to that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Especially when you've seen so many movies about dying parents or dead parents. I mean, it's become so cliche over time. It's like you couldn't think of another story for this movie, another backstory either. Like, really? This is what you came up with? I mean, I guess it's not too much of a spoiler. I can say what the whole movie's about. Spike is looking for a cure for cancer with his mom. That's the movie. So they got to go see a doctor. And the doctor's played by Ralph Fiennes, Dr. Ian Kelson. And then, without saying too much, that ending is just flabbergasting. One of the biggest WTF moments I've ever had during a movie because the tonal shift is just insane. I couldn't believe what I was watching after a while. Not only that, but the unsatisfying conclusion just feels like setup for a sequel. Like this movie doesn't even feel like a complete story. It just feels like all setup. It's baffling. Baffling, I tell you. So the cast is pretty good given the material that they have. I mean, I just wish Aaron Taylor Johnson was in it more. He's only in the first like half an hour or so of the movie, and then he comes back toward the end. So if you're going to see him, sorry to burst your bubble. Same with Ralph Fiennes. He's only in the movie for like 20 minutes, and he's okay in the role. I mean, he's a great actor. I kind of feel like he was miscast here. Like they could have put anybody in this role. Why'd you get Ralph Fiennes? Like maybe he's got a bigger role in this other movie because it's supposed to be a planned trilogy. There's going to be this one, then there's going to be Bone Temple, and then one more after that. So maybe he's got a bigger role down the line. It's hard to say. So I'm not going to be too judgmental about characters' roles and how big or small they are. I just wish we had more time with some of these characters so we can get to know them more so we could care about them. You know what I mean? Because Jamie and Spike do have good chemistry. And then they eventually they come across another character named Eric, who's played by Edvin Ryden. He's a Swedish soldier that gets stuck in the island. So he kind of travels with them for a bit. That's another thing too. They kind of rewrite the end of 28 Weeks Later. If you're familiar with that movie, that ends with the infection in Paris. But right away, right off the bat in this movie, they're like, yeah, Paris took care of it. The rest of the world's not infected. It's just in the UK. So that raises a lot of questions too. Like, yeah, I know they tried to help him in 28 weeks later, but come on, you're just gonna leave him there? You're not gonna help him at all? You're just gonna let him suffer? I don't know. I just think the UN or something would step in. But anyways, I do like the hunting sequence early on with Jamie and Spike. It's supposed to be like a rite of passage for Spike. He's supposed to kill his first zombie. And they have this chase through this house, and it goes across the land bridge I was talking about for the high tide. And it's such a well shot scene. It's so suspenseful. I just wish more of the movie was like that. So, overall, I don't think this flick lives up to the infectious hype. I think this flick should be quarantined. Being one of my most anticipated horror movies this year makes it all the more disappointing. It just feels too different from the originals. There's not as much tension, there's less action. It's way more artsy and symbolic, it's more abstract. Like it really tries to tug on the heartstrings too with the whole cancer thing, but I don't know. Like I said, it just feels manipulative to me. Like they know that's going to make people sad, so they use it. intentionally to make people sad. It's like you could have come up with another story. But just complaining about the dead parents cliche and Clown in the Cornfield too, when I reviewed that one. That review is also on my channel if you're interested. I also ranked my top 5 killer clowns. But anyway, like I was saying, this flick feels way too different from the originals. There's a lot of visual confusion too, because at times it tries to be gritty, but other times it looks really like glossy and pretty. You know what I mean? So there's that contrast, and it makes you wonder if you're going to shoot. Like I get what they were going for. They shot with the iPhones so that they can get this gritty feeling back that they got from the original film. And I guess those older cameras aren't really in production anymore. Maybe they're obsolete. But what doesn't make sense to me is they try to make great quality cameras look low quality. What's the point of that? I just want to make sure I'm still streaming. All right, cool. Wait, I'm sharing the screen, right? Okay, cool. Just checking. But yeah, I can't help but feel disappointed. I have so many questions. What's with all the lens flares? There's so many lens flares, it's distracting. And what's with all this frantic editing? It's annoying. And why don't people in this world ever secure their doors? This is what I mean by unnecessary danger. And I'm curious, whatever happened to the chimps that were originally infected 28 days later? Because they never touched on that ever again after that scene. So, aren't there like infected chimp colonies all over the UK by now? Where's that movie? I want to see that movie where they come across infected chimp colonies and they have to escape. And I get how after 28 years, the zombies would be like Neanderthals, practically cavemen. You know what I mean? But why are all the zombies naked? You heard that right. This movie's full of naked zombies. There's a lot of naked penises and a lot of naked vaginas. Way too many zombie penis and vagina. There's even a zombie birth scene. I didn't even mention the zombie baby. But I don't want to say too much. That's kind of getting into spoiler territory. But yeah, the zombie baby just raises so many more questions. How does the zombie give birth? How did the zombie get pregnant? Was she pregnant before she turned into a zombie? Are the zombies mating now? Like, WTF? There's a lot of weird writing choices. That's what I'm talking about. And this movie doesn't use the iconic score? Really? No iconic score? So, what do we have here? We have an uneven mix of horror, humor, drama, and then we got this surrealism that they're trying to do too, with all this experimental camera work, and it's a very artsy feeling film, and it just feels very inconsistent. It's not as grounded as the first two movies, and it doesn't really have the same timely themes. It doesn't really reflect on life after the disaster in a meaningful way. It's got this scene where it talks about I don't know the exact quote, but he says a Latin phrase, memento mori, memento mori, or something like that. It says "remember to die," and then the other one is memento amore. I should have wrote it down, but something along those lines. Remember to die. Remember to love. Remember to die. Remember to love. And that whole scene, that's the one I was referring to before. It just feels so rushed. I had to watch it twice because I watched this on Crave in Canada, and because it just went by, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? Did something happen that I just think just happened? Did that really just happen? So I had to go back and watch that scene twice just so I can get it. And yeah, Wasn't sure if I saw that right the first time, but yeah. I don't want to say too much, but it has to do with a certain character's death. All of a sudden, this character is just dead. It's like, wait, what? It just didn't register the first time. You know what I mean? So I had to go back and watch it again. But it is way more ambitious and artistic than expected. So I do respect that. Like, I kind of get what they were going for. But at the same time, it's like, what are you thinking? You can see the influences were based on like Brexit, and then there's the COVID-19 pandemic references that Garland mentioned before too. So it also touches on themes based on those two things of nationalism and isolationism. And it's pretty on the nose too. It's pretty obvious what they're going for. And there's no nuance like the other movies. It's not subtle. They just hit you over the head with it repeatedly. But again, I do like the practical effects for the gore. This movie is gruesome and I love it. So it does get a few points for that. But I can't help but compare this film to Prey. Both were long awaited legacy entries that revived iconic dormant franchises with a fresh, character driven approach. They're both about young hunters who have a rite of passage, go into the wilderness on their own for the first time, and have to battle a constant, relentless threat for survival outside of nature itself. Both also function as standalone films. You don't necessarily need to see the others to enjoy them. However, Prey had a similar consistency for the tone as the rest of the franchise, while also adding to the expansive lore. This film doesn't do that. It feels too far removed from the other two films that it doesn't fit along with them. You could watch all three in a row. That's what I did too. I watched the first two, and then I watched this one. I had a triple feature. So maybe that was my mistake. I probably shouldn't have watched the first two movies first. I should have watched this one and then the other two movies. I should have watched it in like reverse order or something. Oops. So that's on me. So if you're expecting the usual 28, yeah. So if you're expecting the usual 28 days later style intensity, this one might feel disappointing or just plain off. I also noticed similarities to Zombieland 2, Double Tap. Both are about a post apocalyptic world with evolved threats. Both movies build on the idea that time has passed, not just time, but a significant amount of time has passed since the initial apocalypse, and the world hasn't stayed static. It's also got new types of zombies. So there's the evolved threats that show up. 28 years later, it has the alpha zombies and the slow lows. Zombieland had the homers and they called them the T1000s, but pretty similar ideas. They're both also about survivors adapting to this new kind of life, this new reality, because society isn't going to go back to the way that it was. There's no way that's going to happen. So the characters adapt to survive. They form their own groups and communities all over the place, and they even develop strategies for dealing with the undead in their own unique ways. They shape their lives over what safety means now in the outside world. And it's about community. Time passing is also a huge component for both those movies. This gives for a change in character dynamics and an evolution of the decay of the infrastructure around them. And of course, the evolution of the infected. This also leads to environmental changes, of course. And both films explore how characters are haunted by the past, what was versus what their world has become. And they balance this desire for normal life, quote unquote, in this grim reality. They also have to deal with long term consequences like quarantines, these mutations that I mentioned before. Well, all at the same time, they can't give up hope because then all is lost. But really, what made those first two films was the characters and the character dynamics. This film just doesn't have that. Even that scene with the Bone Temple there, I think it's going to be like a cool thing about like different cults and different tribes and like warring factions and stuff like that. But no, I won't say specifically what it is, but it's kind of a letdown when you find out what that actually is, like what it's for. It's just like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. Kind of wishes there was more to it than that, but hey, this is what we got. So, from a technical standpoint, this is a very well crafted film. And at times it is beautiful to look at. And it is cool to see that contrast between the gorgeous and the grotesque, because you have really good gore effects too for practical effects. But that's really all the nice things I can say about this movie. I didn't like the writing choices. I didn't like how the characters' stories were. Like, this isn't the story that I expected, but it's not really about expectations. It's about satisfaction of the story that we're presented, right? And I just thought this was a very lacking story. I thought there could have been more to it. It's not very clever. It's still pretty cliche. We've seen the same story again and again. I mean, it feels like The Last of Us more than anything. And it feels like those other two movies I mentioned too, Zombieland Double Tap and Prey. But those other two movies did it so much better. So I'd recommend that you watched it just so you can see it for yourself and judge it for yourself. I mean, a lot of people are raving about this film. A lot of critics that I trust say this film's phenomenal. So I had high expectations from this film going in. Maybe that was another reason why I was so disappointed. But yeah, I wasn't a fan. Let's go back to me. Still streaming? Cool. Let's get rid of this. So, my official grade for 28 years later is small popcorn. With a side of iodine. Oh, I forgot to mention that. I had to explain that joke. Ralph finds his character. I forget his name. Dr. something. Hold on, it's here. Yeah, Dr. Kelson. He's very eccentric and he covers himself in stuff like iodine and he uses morphine on the zombies instead of just killing them. So he kind of lives with them in peace. But it's like, where is he getting this iodine and morphine from after all this time? It doesn't make sense. So, little thing I forgot to mention that bothered me a lot. Where is he getting this iodine and morphine from? So, yeah, that's my review. Small popcorn with a side of iodine. So, now let's rank these movies. Obviously, 28 years later is going to be at number 3. So, at number 2, number 3 was 28 years later. Number 2, I forgot to do that. I'm going to go with 28 weeks later. So I'd much rather watch that film again than this one. That might be controversial. I don't know. I don't care. It's my opinion. I love this film. I really do. Great poster, too. So, 28 Weeks Later was directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. Sorry if I butchered that. It was written by Rowan Jaffe, Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, and Enrique Lopez Levine. It stars Jeremy Renner, Rose Byrne, and Robert Carlyle. Robert Carlyle. Ooh, excuse me. The budget is $15 million, and it made $72.3 million at the box office worldwide. I'm just looking for my notes. 1 second. Oh, okay. So, one of the main reasons why I like this film is it carves out its own identity while remaining thematically faithful to its predecessor. It doesn't just continue the story, but it expands the world, deepens the dread, and raises haunting new questions about human nature, trust, and survival. Hold on, I'll read the synopsis real quick. Six months after the rabies virus was inflicted on the population of Great Britain, the U.S. Army helps to rescue a small area of London for the survivors to repopulate and start again. But not everything goes according to plan. That's actually a very good description. This movie is nuts. In a good way. In a good way. For 28 Days Later felt more intimate and personal. Because that's about a small group of survivors navigating the broken world. 28 Weeks Later really widens the scope. The shift allows the sequel to explore new themes, like the illusion of control, the failures of military oversight, and the dangers of premature optimism. They think the infection's over, but it's clearly not. And that's not a spoiler, that's the movie. 28 Days Later ends with a flicker of hope, but 28 Weeks Later asks the question, what if that was false hope? Very few sequels have such a powerful opening scene as 28 Weeks Later. This is like one of the greatest opening scenes in a horror movie ever. That's not hyperbole. The farmhouse ambush is a gut wrenching, chaotic, and morally challenging moment. Accumulating in Robert Carlyle's character, Dawn, abandoning his wife to save himself after he helps guide her through the house to help her escape. So he does everything in his power to try to help her escape. And then she goes back to save the kids that aren't even her kids. So he leaves her. It's a bold character introduction because he's not a villain. He's just a flawed human being driven by fear. That moral ambiguity really does set the tone for the rest of the film. It's also a technical marvel It's intense, it's fast paced, and it's shot with so much energy. It's like the zombies themselves. They grab you, bite, and never let go. That's what it feels like. Like you just got ambushed by zombies yourself. What an intro. Wow. The film explores the second wave of the disaster. It critiques the overconfidence in institutions and the belief that control can be reasserted just as easily as they said it would. Just because they think the threat is gone doesn't mean that it actually is. In this one, the rage virus is a metaphor for unintended consequences. At least that's how I interpret it. The reintroduction of the virus wasn't done through military error, but it was done through human connection. When Don finds out his wife is a carrier and he kisses her, he gets infected. And then it just snowballs from there. Although that is a plot hole. How did they even get in there with no like security or anything like that? Nobody's watching the room. Nobody's watching the cameras. But anyways, it's just something I noticed upon my rewatch. I thought it was kind of funny. This moment, even though it's devastating, reinforces the idea that love, compassion, and family, the very things that help us survive, can also be our undoing in a world that's ruled by rage. There's also that thematic continuity about trust, betrayal, and survival. Weeks continues the franchise's examination of those topics. Days questioned whether humans were worse than monsters and who the real monsters were. Weeks shows that even those trying to do the right thing can still become instruments of destruction. Don spreads the infection through London because he's trying to reconnect and apologize to his wife. He's trying to do the right thing. That was his downfall. And then the military escalates the situation with this draconian, dehumanizing measures they put in place. And two kids, Andy and Tammy, are caught in the middle this time. But they're innocent in all this. They're suffering because of what the adults did. It's their mistakes they're paying for. And it repeatedly asks this question throughout the whole movie. Who can you trust when everything falls apart again? So even though this one is more action oriented, it still finds moments of intimacy, emotional weight, and it brings that fear factor. This movie's scary. I love the sibling bond between Andy and Tammy. In this world of chaos, it's this fragile ray of hope. I forget their names though. I didn't write them down. Hold on. Where are they? Go away. I'm not sponsored. I didn't say them when I was talking about the cast. Imogen Poots was Tammy. Oh yeah, Idris Elba's in this too as Stone. I don't see the boy. Oh, Andy. Oh, click. Macintosh Muggleton was Andy. And go away. Emojin Poots was Tammy. There you go. Cool. So quick check. And I wasn't sharing the screen. Okay. Sorry about that. Oops, wrong one. Okay, I will start that over again. Sorry about that. 28 weeks later. I'm just going to assume that I didn't get any of that. So here's the synopsis according to IMDb. 6 months after the rage virus was infected on the population of Great Britain, the U.S. Army helped secure a small area of London for the survivors to repopulate and start again. But not everything goes according to plan. That's a great description for the movie. All right, things are going smoothly. Okay, sorry about that. I will start again. Luckily, I didn't say that much. 28 weeks later, came out in 2007. It was directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo and was written by Rohan Jaffe, Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, and Enrique Lopez Levine. Sorry if I butchered your names. Let's get this poster going. Great poster, by the way. It stars Jamie Renner, Rose Byrne, and Robert Carlyle. It was made in the budget budget of $15 million. And it made $72.3 million at the box office worldwide. So one of the things I love about 28 Weeks Later is how it carves out its own identity while still remaining thematically faithful to its predecessor. It doesn't just continue the story, it expands the universe, deepens the dread, and raises the haunting new questions about human nature, trust, and survival. Where days felt intimate and personal, weeks widens the scope. This shift allows the sequel to explore new themes like the illusion of control, the failures of military oversight, and the dangers of premature optimism. Where days ends with a flicker of hope, weeks asks the question, what if that hope was false? Few sequels announce their legitimacy as powerfully as the opening scene does in Weeks. This is one of the best opening scenes in a horror movie, period. The farmhouse ambush is gut-wrenching, chaotic, and it's a morally challenging moment. Culminating to Robert Carlyle's character, Don, abandoning his wife to save himself after he already saved her once. It's a bold character introduction because he's not a villain, he's just a flawed human being that's driven by fear. That moral ambiguity sets the tone for the entire film perfectly. The sequence is also a technical marvel. I mean, it's tense, it's fast paced, it's shot well. I like the editing, it's done urgently. It's like a zombie, it grabs you and it doesn't want to let go. Primarily, the film explores the second wave of the disaster. It critiques the overconfidence in institutions and the belief that control can be reasserted just because the threat seems like it's gone. The rage virus is a metaphor for unintended consequences. The reintroduction of the virus happens not because of some military error, it was because of human connection. When Don kisses his wife, it turns from a beautiful moment to a devastating one. It reinforces the idea that love, compassion, and family, the very things that help you survive, can also be your undoing in this world. There's that thematic continuity, too, about trust, betrayal, and survival. Weeks continues the franchise examination of those topics. Just as Days questioned whether or not humans were worse monsters than the zombies, Weeks shows that even those trying to do the right thing can be doomed. Those things you love become your instruments of destruction, so to speak. Dawn infects London by trying to reconnect with his wife. He was trying to do the right thing. I think he was even trying to apologize to her. But yeah, that was a downfall. And London's downfall. The military only escalates the situation with their draconian, dehumanizing measures. And the two kids, Andy and Tammy, are caught in the middle of it, all because of the adults' mistakes. But they're innocent and they're suffering because of that. Hold on. The kids are. I should have wrote their names down. Go away. I think Imogen Poots is one of them. Yeah, Tammy is Imogen Poots, and then Andy is Macintosh Muggleton. Great actors. They do a good job carrying the film. But even now that I think about it, Years is very derivative of this one too, because the two kids go out and they look for their mom. I just noticed that. That's funny. But anyways, Weeks repeatedly asked the question, who can you trust when everything falls apart again? Although it's more action-oriented than its predecessor, it still finds moments of intimacy with emotional weight, and it brings that fear factor. This movie's scary. And that sibling bond between Andy and Tammy offers a fragile thread of hope in this miserable world. Their survival becomes an emotional anchor in a film that often feels like it's collapsing under its own nihilism. This movie is dark and it is bleak. The imagery, like the snipers overlooking civilian crowds, the gas being released onto a quarantined city, and the helicopters mowing down the infected, are so bold. Talk about striking visual imagery. Yet, the film never loses sight of the cost of being infection free or the cost of escaping or the individual cost of what it takes to survive. It really does prefer a harsh realism over a comforting resolution. It's not going for the comfort factor at all. Where Days offered a note of cautious optimism, Weeks ends on a chilling note. It shows the virus going into the mainland in Europe, with the zombies running toward the Eiffel Tower. It continues the idea that some outbreaks can't be contained, not just the virus itself, but fear, violence, and human failure. So, this genre defining film lacks the indie grit and the emotional intimacy as 28 Days Later does, but it's not trying to replicate that at the same time. Instead, it expands the world, sharpens the metaphor, and really does amplify the stakes. It's not just about what happens when the world ends, it's what happens when we try to rebuild the world too soon. In its own way, weeks is just as devastating and just as thought provoking as days. It's that rare horror sequel that honors its predecessor without imitating it. It's bigger, it's bolder, and it's a reflection on society. It's a systematic critique that explores how quickly the best laid plans can unravel. It's not just a worthy sequel. I consider this I consider this an essential companion piece. It's a great double feature. Watch them both in a row because this is a solid sequel with great tension, intense visuals, but the writing's not as strong. It's filled with plot holes and conveniences. Like a lot of key events, like Don kissing his wife. I mean, he goes into a biohazard zone where the kids like escape from quarantine. Some of these things just don't really make sense logically. How did they even get in there without being stopped? And how did the kids get out without being stopped? The characters are also mostly one dimensional, except for like Don and the kids. Jimmy Renner's good, but he's a one note character. He's just Jimmy Renner in this movie. That's not a bad thing. That's a compliment. Are we still streaming? I just want to make sure. All right, still going. I didn't have to do it a third time. And also, the military portrayal is one note. The US military is shown overly brutal without much sympathy for other people. And that helicopter scene is just cheesy, but I love it. So it has less focus on relationships, and it does feel a little bit more hollow than the first one. But man, that intro was so emotionally impactful. And then Dawn's storyline is great. I love it. And it really delivers on the horror. But there are some ideas that do seem like they're wasted, like the concept of carriers and immunity. They're introduced, but they're not really explored all too much. It's kind of hinted at that Andy is a carrier too, but it's not concrete, it's not definite. But this is still a thrilling experience, despite being not as thoughtful or grounded as 28 Days Later. So, back to me. My official grade for 28 weeks later is small popcorn. Falling off the couch. So now, my number one pick for the 28 trilogy 28 Days Later. Oh, wait, I almost did it again. Share screen. If I don't talk myself through it, I'll forget. Let's get that poster up. I love 28 Days Later, and here's why. Let's get that poster first. Yeah, there it is. All right, here's the technical specs. And thank you, Sabrina, for taking the notes for the technical specs and those birthdays and those deaths. We had a lot of deaths and birthdays to get through this week. So I appreciate the hard work and the effort. Thank you. So, 28 days later. This came out in 2002. Almost 28 years ago. It's about 23, but still. It's directed by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland. It stars Cillian Murphy, or is it Killian? I just say Cillian, so I'm going to go with that. Sorry if I butchered it. It's got Naomi Harris and Chris Eccleston. It was made on the budget of $8 million, and it made $74.9 million worldwide at the box office. So, what can I say about 28 Days Later that hasn't already been said? I'll just kind of walk you through some of my highlights from the film. The opening scene perfectly sets up the rage virus infection without over explaining. Instead of a huge monologue narrating what happened, we get a brief scene showing everything we need to know. They got the animal activist group, they set the chimpanzees loose, and then the world damn near goes to hell. Well, not damn near, the world entirely goes to hell. Don't you hate it when your animal activist group is trying to do the right thing and they accidentally unleash a virus that destroys humanity as you know it? I know I do. From there, the script wisely shifts focus to Jim, played by Cillian Murphy. His POV is waking up at a hospital, finding London seemingly abandoned. His walking around screaming, "Hello!" is iconic, and it's great foreshadowing for the conclusion. So, the way the movie's set up, he learns things about the zombie apocalypse as the audience does. That's so clever. I love when movies do that. While investigating the church full of infected, he's rescued by Selena, Naomi Harris, and a guy named Mark, played by Noah Huntley. At Jim's request, the group travels on foot to his parents' house, where he discovers that they committed suicide. Mark is bitten and then ambushed by the infected. Before the infection can take hold, before the infection takes hold, Selena kills him. She tells Jim that, quote, "If it happens to you, I'll do it in a heartbeat," end quote. That line is now famous. Probably one of the most iconic lines from the movie. I love how that scene plays out too, and you can see what these characters' dynamics are all about, where their places in this world, and how they're doing their best to survive. Such a good scene. Eventually, they find Frank, who's played by Brendan Gleeson, and his young daughter Hannah, played by Megan Burns. It turns out Frank has been listening to this military radio broadcast that says that they have the quote unquote salvation from infected located just outside of Manchester. So Frank plans to take Hannah there, and they all agree to travel together, the four of them. This leads to the famous tunnel scene with the rats. It speaks volumes about the film. This scene is iconic for several reasons. The way it's shot and edited is phenomenally crafted. The cinematography and the direction gives this scene, this raw feeling. And the handheld camera work, combined with the use of light and shadows, adds to the fear factor. This scene's suspenseful because they're trying to change a flat tire while the zombies are running at them in the dark. Then there's the music, too. I love the score for this film. It really does add to that sense of looming dread. And all these feelings are intensified when the film comes full circle at the military camp, led by Major Henry West, who was Eccleston. When Jim rescues the women from becoming sex slaves to keep the human race going, everything is amped to 11, especially the gore effects. The iconic eye gouging scene is as visceral as it is brutal. And in an odd way, it's very romantic what he does. He risks his life to save theirs. And he comes full circle from being this naive, lost bike carrier to being somebody willing to fight for their survival. He learned a lot on his travels, and I love the character growth. And like I was saying before, the movie ends on this hopeful note with the three of them using a huge cloth banner spelling out the words "Hello." They wave at a jet coming by, and they hope that they were spotted. So there's that uplifting optimism I was talking about before. Maybe they're seen, maybe they'll be saved, maybe there's hope after all. And until the second one questions everything. But I like how it challenges the first one like that without completely going against the first one, and erasing the stuff that happened. That's what bothers me about 28 years later, actually. I didn't mention that before, but they kind of don't acknowledge 28. Oh, yeah, I know I did mention that because they mentioned that France contained the infection and that it's not in the mainland and it's not around the rest of the world. It's just in the UK. So the rest of the world is like, screw them. We're not going to help you anymore. But anyways, back to 28 days later. This film works on multiple levels. It's a zombie flick, it's a political allegory, and it's a dramatic character study. It's smart, emotional, and deeply thought provoking due to the writing, cinematography, and direction. It gives this film this raw feel to it. The aesthetic lends to this unique, gritty realism. John Murphy's haunting score really does intensify every scene that it's used in, reinforcing this relentless atmosphere. It's not just horror, it creates a genuine anxiety inside you. This movie also does a good job of reimagining what a zombie can be. Even though they don't outright call them zombies in this movie, and I guess they're not really zombies because they're just infected with the rage virus, but still, it helps reinvigorate the subgenre too. Because the film doesn't feature traditional undead zombies, the slow moving ones. These are fast, aggressive, and relentless. It's like they have rabies or something. This shift revitalized the genre to inspire a new wave of horror movies in the mid to late 2000s. And Boyle's use of digital video and that hauntingly deserted London landscape adds to that realism I mentioned before. So the horror in this movie isn't just about the jump scares, which there's a couple, but it's not reliant on that. But it's more about in the existential dread of societal collapse. The group's journey through this lawless, post apocalyptic Britain taps into classic horror themes like isolation, resource scarcity, and the danger of other survivors. Sometimes people can be monsters too. The rapid breakdown of order is symbolism for how a thin veneer of civilization, like their institutions, like the government, the military, and the media, can crumble instantly. We're not as prepared as civilians like to think. And it poses the question, what are we really without them? And the film's second half features this rogue military unit, which critiques authoritarianism and abuse of power. Major West promises of quote unquote salvation mask this predatory patriarchy, warning about how quickly power can corrupt in a crisis situation. The virus can also be seen as symbolism too, not just as a literal disease, but that emotional contagion with things such as anger and fear and hatred. Once these ideas get released, they're hard to manage. It also shows, it also shows the repercussions of short-sighted activism and scientific irresponsibility, while echoing post 9/11 anxiety, because it was released just after September 11th in 2001. This was like the following year. And it captures the fear of sudden catastrophe, societal breakdown, and the militarized response to perceived threats. Themes that would dominate global politics for years to come after 9/11 happened. So there's that parallel to reality. It hits a little too close to home, if you catch my drift. And as a character study, there's Jim's transformation. I sort of mentioned it briefly before, but he's almost like this man child almost in the beginning. He's very confused, he's very naive. Then he becomes a hardened survivor, capable of extreme violence. It poses deep moral questions, like, do you have what it takes to survive in this world? What is the cost of living in this world? And it's about those human connections. The relationships between the characters serve as their emotional anchors. The people are what drives them to survive. In a world stripped of structure, human empathy, trust, and companionship become acts of defiance. By the end, it's interesting because it's unclear who the real monsters are. You have the infected, you have the soldiers, and then you have the survivors themselves. Because Jim's violent rampage at the mansion mirrors the brutality of the infected. And Hannah even thinks that he got infected. So it suggests, in a way, subtly, that survival may require surrendering your own humanity, so to speak. It's smart, visceral, and emotionally resonant. Not to mention genre defining. Days isn't just a horror film. It held a mirror up to society. It held a mirror up to fear, power, and it made us look at ourselves in the mirror. In the midst of it all, it reminds us that human connections may be our greatest hope and our last chance for survival. There's also a special place in my heart for the original because it was introduced to me through my late husband, Richard. At the time, I wasn't a big fan of zombie movies. I thought they were kind of played out. I wasn't really all that into them. But he gave me a new appreciation for the subgenre. This was the first movie that we bonded over when we first met, and it really set the foundation for our relationship. Because in turn, shortly after she showed me this, I showed him Shaun of the Dead, and then he showed me the rest of his zombie collection, which included the original Night of the Living Dead and White Zombie. I hadn't seen those before him. So, yeah, this movie's smart, it's visceral, it's emotionally resonant, and it really did define what the genre could be at the time, paving the way for many, many more zombie movies to come. Like the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, I love this movie because of my late husband Richard. I've seen this movie so many times. It's just one that never gets old. So let's go back to me. Move here. All right, still connected. So, my official grade for 28 days later is an extra, extra, extra large popcorn. So, that's the end of my show. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For a quick recap, my grade for 28 years later was a small popcorn. It's number 3 in my ranking. 28 weeks later is number 2. It gets a medium popcorn. And at number 1, of course, 28 days later, extra, extra, extra large popcorn. So I highly recommend the first 2 movies. And it's not a high recommendation, but I do suggest that you see 28 years later for yourself, just so you can judge it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Other critics are raving about this film. It's one that I trust in particular. So, well, a lot of them I trust, not just one, but the ones that I trust are raving about this film. But I thought it was disappointing. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan. I don't think I'm going to be rewatching it anytime soon. I'd rather watch the other 2 movies. But that's just me. What did you think of 28 years later? Leave comments below and we can talk about it. Until next time, I'll see you at the movies. And remember, hold on, I don't want to screw this up. And remember, if the prior films were all the rage, then that makes this new one feel more passive-aggressive. Have a good night. I'll see you at the movies. Have a great day. Did you know that I'm a film critic for HorrorBuzz.com? You can read my reviews on their website, and I make frequent appearances on their YouTube channel, HorrorBuzz Live. So I'll leave links below for that too. Happy Halloween. I hope you're enjoying spooky season. What are you going to be for Halloween? Leave comments below and we can talk about it. I'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Goodbye.